And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened. Take a look what happened.
Some call it luck. Others call it a miracle. It was 2 seconds along with 2 centimeters, and the news of this incident would have been completely different. At first, I thought not to make a video about this, but as days go by, more strange things, more suspicious and mysterious coincidences appear on the scene. So many that I feel it is worth dedicating a video to this case. Because my name is Leonore Clay, and this is The Darkest Secret. Today we present the terrifying coincidences of the Trump incident. On July 13th, social media was filled with speculation about the incident involving Donald Trump. That day, and just hours later, I read comments that said it was simply an exaggeration. In some Twitter posts, people repeated with 100% certainty that it had only been a burst balloon or a pellet gun. But as the hours passed and the official reports appeared, the truth began to come much more clear.
I would confirm for you that we did have one individual killed, and I know I heard somebody say about 2 victims. There were 3 in total besides the former president. So 2 critically wounded, 1 killed.
When this became known, the networks once again shouted misinformation. It was rumored that it had been a setup, meaning to say, a setup of the deceased person and everything. On Twitter, there were comments that claimed that an experienced shooter could achieve this with precision, that it was perfectly set up to increase Trump's popularity. This type of comment earned the most retweets. But come on, let's be serious. 1 person dead and a couple injured apart from Donald Trump. Just a couple of centimeters and the story would have been very different. In reality, this had been an attack.
Take a look what happened.
The only reason why Donald Trump is still alive today is simply due to a slight inclination. As quick as that bullet is as quickly as the videos began to circulate on the internet. And something that was extremely evident also began to circulate immediately. How did something like this happen? Aren't the roofs under constant surveillance? Come on. Even in the movies, it is known that this is the favorite, almost cliché way to commit this type of act. So, how did a 20-year-old boy with a rifle manage to climb up here without anyone stopping him? The ideas mutated, and one of them began to spring back and generate a thunderous echo. This boy could not have achieved everything he did, that is to say, carry a rifle and climb up here without being permitted. He was only 20 years old and lived in Bethel Park, very close to the site of the attack. He graduated from high school in 2022. The boy had been one of several students who received awards for their performance in mathematics and science. He is also known to have tried to join the school's shooting team, but was rejected for his poor aim, said the team captain, who was a few years younger than Crooks. He had no criminal record. He was practically a normal boy who decided to end his life in a rather stupid way. Generally, when this type of thing happens, his manifesto quickly comes to light. The reasons why he did what he did. However, as of the date I put together this video, the motivations are still not clarified. They still do not appear. The most that could be discovered that the boy kept some rudimentary explosive in his car, but that was all. He did have a discard profile with some messages, which were deleted by the same company, but we will see that later. Now, I would like you to see this photo. See that rooftop Donald has right in front of him? The boy was exactly on that one, pointing directly at him. In fact, it was the closest roof, apart from the ones occupied by the Secret Service. In this diagram, you can see it better. In these three buildings were the president's snipers, and here was the subject. The deceased was at this point, not on the back of the stage as one might have thought at first. So what the heck? It was the next most obvious roof. And it wasn't even guarded? He didn't even have police around him? Now is where we enter the suspicious coincidences.
If we were doing the job, I wouldn't even be doing this. I'd be at some beautiful places according to those.
Look, they're all pointing.
The Atlantic, maybe the Pacific.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look. There he is right there. Right there, see him? He's laying down, see him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
And Scott, I'm here with you fighting cartel to get a Senate.
What's happening?
And to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it.
Yeah, look.
And it's
There he
not
is.
easy, because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people. Criminals. We have criminals. We have drug dealers. We have people that should not be here.
Right on the roof.
It's much tougher than it happens.
You went right on the roof, big guy.
We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, But we noticed the guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle, absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof, we can see him from right here. We see him, he's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2-3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
People saw him. Ordinary people who weren't even hired to pay attention to these things saw him because he was the only guy dressed in casual clothes and carrying a rifle. Not only did they see it, people reported it to the police and to the Secret Service. And for some mysterious reason, nothing could be done. It wasn't like the guy was hiding. He was there in plain sight. How was it possible that ordinary people who had no orders to guard the premises saw the subject who was in full view, but not the police? Not the people trained and existing there only to detect these threats. There's an old saying that goes, don't confuse malice with incompetence. I mean, the fact that the Secret Service couldn't do anything with this information was not malice, conspiracy, or a plan. It was purely incompetence. Really, perhaps expected for some developing country, but from the United States? There is a security agent who spoke anonymously because according to him, they are not authorized to comment on the situation. People not only saw him when he climbed onto the roof, There were reports that they saw him much earlier, before even going through the metal detectors, because apparently the place was, in one way or another, secured. Well, anyway, the security officer said that several attendees told local police officers that Crooks was acting suspiciously and hanging around the metal detectors. Both the Secret Service and the police were informed that Crooks was climbing with a ladder. Here it is assumed that the agents searched for him, but couldn't find him before he reached the roof. If it is about incompetence, this goes further, much further. The same day the incident occurred, the subject stopped to buy ammunition, then went to Home Depot to buy a ladder, and arrived directly at the building that was without guards to have the best location with the best view so that someone with bad aim could hit the mark. Coincidence? 150 rounds of ammunition purchased the same day that Donald Trump was going to give this event in this small town, where it just so happens that this boy lived extremely close. How did he know that that building was going to be unprotected? How much confidence do you need to have in yourself to get on this roof and risk getting shot because it is the most obvious building? The first one the snipers would have their sights on. I mean, the subject had the greatest luck, where even though he was detected and reported, he still achieved his goal, which was to shoot. But how do they ignore information from several witnesses who say they saw a strange subject climb to the rooftop with a rifle? This is your only job. Be alert to these things. Security experts have said that members of the Secret Service must spend days, even months, scouting the area where the presidential candidate or a president will be, doing this with the help of local police to ensure that any security vulnerabilities are adequately mitigated. They supposedly know every point where someone might want to carry out an attack, and it is supposedly well protected, with more officers and clear strategic points for double security. In fact, it is these guys, the sniper team, who are 100% responsible for ensuring that no other shooter can even draw their weapon. But their most important role as experts in these weapons is to scan the place beforehand to make sure that no other sniper has the opportunity to aim their weapon. So they make sure that all those places have police, barricades, and are impossible to reach. And let's say this hidden roof was not there. The Secret Service is trained to prevent attacks and not to react to them. And now you tell me that a 20-year-old boy managed, with a tremendous ladder on his shoulder and a rifle on the other, to pass all those maximum security barriers to find himself in the closest, most privileged building, and that he also took his time to settle in, take his rifle out of the case, and fire between 4 to 8 shots before the Secret Service took him down. I insist, even the police and the Secret Service agents themselves were informed about this subject, and they did nothing? Do you realize why I had to make this video? 2 options. Either it was planned to happen like this, or the Secret Service is a team of the most incompetent people that exist on this planet. We'll talk about this in a few minutes. Now, as for Discord, people are trying to look everywhere for points where they can connect this to something bigger. And well, the only site that apparently had anything from him was Discord. However, in a statement to Fox News Digital, a Discord spokesperson said that an account that appears to be linked to Thomas Matthew Crooks has been identified and removed in accordance with the company's off-platform behavior policy. I mean, they didn't even wait for the FBI or the press. His profile was found, and it was deleted. The account was rarely used, has not been used in months, and we have found no evidence that it was used to plan this incident, promote violence, or discuss his political views, said the Discord spokesperson. I don't know. I find it suspicious. Everything is covered by a strange veil of specific coincidences that it makes it easy to think that this was planned, not for Trump to win. Quite the opposite. But of course, until now that idea is simply a conspiracy theory. These types of theories are very easy to generate in these types of scenarios, especially when so many tools are given to suspect.
JFK gave the order to start the withdrawal of U.S. troops, and 1 month later had his head blown off in Dallas, Texas in 1963 at Dealey Plaza. Trump has said he will end the war in Ukraine. Overnight, the U.S. funds 80% of it. He has that power when he's president of the United States.
Will there be some type of conflict of interest in this Ukrainian conflict? Will it benefit the United States in some way? At least, I don't know. However, so many connected coincidences brought all the conspiracy theorists out of their tinfoil bunkers. For example, one theory said that a company orchestrated all this and its evidence. Well, the video where this boy appeared in a BlackRock commercial. BlackRock, the supposed mega company that owns everything in the United States. But do you realize? What are the chances for this boy to appear involved in something like that? Others, more daring, say that the subject had been a product of MKUltra, and that he was activated with a code word, like the Winter Soldier in the Marvel movies. Do you remember MKUltra? That covert operation that was executed in real life, where homeless people were experimented on to achieve mind control. Well, there are people who believe that they managed to discover things in these experiments, and in effect, they can control a person and destabilize them, and make them act in the way they want. Notice that all his friends described him as a shy, quiet boy who was frequently bullied at school. And then, near this incident, he seems like that. With extreme anger, he complains about Republicans at the top of his lungs, with notable hatred. Introverts have these types of reactions? What do you think? Those most obsessed with these theories even claim that The Simpsons have something to do with it. Whenever something like this happens, they bring out The Simpsons. This photo is going around the internet with the title that The Simpsons canceled an episode that is closely related to what happened. The truth is that after doing a little research, I found out that this is actually an episode. It's called Lisa the Iconoclast, where a sniper targets Lisa just like what happened with Donald Trump. However, that's all. There are no such drawings in this episode. The only conspiracy theory that catches my attention, the pattern of assassination attempts that Trump has had during his career. Out of all these conspiracy theories, what is the truth? What do we have so far? Until now, all this is associated with terrible management of the Secret Service, a mysterious maximum incompetence that a former Secret Service agent himself said in an interview with the Wall Street Journal.
That's a massive communication failure. When I was overseeing sites, we would have Secret Service agents right next to police with police radios. If there's something that's going on, boom, everybody knows instantly. Quite frankly, if the detail had known there was an armed person climbing up on a roof, they would have evacuated the president right away, no questions asked.
The protocols are clear. With the suspicion of the first witness, there is an evacuation of the president or candidate. He is removed from the stand and thoroughly investigated before continuing.
Once the shooting started, they had rounds on target almost instantly. So that tells me that that shooter had come to their attention, and they were in the decision loop.
Apparently, they had the individual in sight from before. But as the former agent says, he was waiting for the order. That is to say, did they have the boy in sight before and waited for his action? That goes completely against protocol. I doubt it is like that. But if it seems that way to the former agent, there must be some truth to it. This is definitely the strangest government incident I've ever encountered.
Take a look at what happened.
Every day, more information appears that twists the case even more. Things deleted from Discord, erratic behavior in a short time, the coincidences that were given to get here. Everything is very bizarre. What do you believe? Conspiracy or extreme incompetence? What makes more sense to you? So far, the logical thing is that it was due to extreme incompetence. If I were Donald Trump and I realized that this is how they take care of me from a crazy person, I would think twice before leaving my bunker, especially when this is not the first time they have tried to erase Trump from the map. Letters with poison, events interrupted events because someone pulled out a gun, and now this? What do you think? Comment below, because this video has already come to an end. My name is Leonore Clay, and this was the darkest secret